Bob's Saturday morning cartoons, Batman animated series, baby. Oh, so good. I was going to combine this maybe with another episode because it's not a big heavy hitter. But man, there's been so much AI conversation. We've been talking about, Mission Impossible. We've been talking about other stuff when AI conversations have been in the news. And sure enough, his Silicon Soul is about AI Batman. It's Hardac all over again. Like it's so interesting to know that this cartoon for kids came up with the idea that they would be a way. Karl Rossum is the technician who's going to create these duplicates. And if you didn't get the purposeness of the voice actor is William Sanderson, who has a role in Blade Runner, obviously the replicants. You may know him from Deadwood. Um, and then we have this leftover Batman Bruce Wayne duplicate that is around. And the episode starts off with a crime, and one of the thugs gets some gunfire, some shots fired off right away. And we end up revealing that he is a cyborg. Makes his way to the Wayne Manor, interacts with Alfred. And then meanwhile, Gordon is catching those crooks down from a light pole. And the real Batman's like, this wasn't me. So, really, really fascinating concept. I really love the Terminator vibes, the AI conversations, and really, well, why this is important to talk about is the humanity. It really has some great moments. We discuss what does it mean to be a human, right? We're just not as easy to replace as, oh, you're a cyborg, you're a robot, you're a sentient being, those kinds of things. There's more to it than that. So let's do some footage. Let's do some footage, if you will. So we can kind of touch on a few things. Obviously, the beautiful credit scene, of course, and the beautiful animation never gets old. Here we go. Title card. Who is our writer on this? Let me see here. Let me see if it tells me. Nope, not there. Missed it. All right, so we end up with this Batman, and then you can see he takes the shots to the belly. You see the mechanics showing through there, and I love the fact that this was him going, not my handiwork. And you could Gordon has like little moments of levity as well too. Like you could have left him a little bit lower. That never is brought up, I think, much in the comic books, by the way. Here, let's take that down so you can see. Yeah, see, they have him way up high. The firefighters are up on like the extension ladder. Kind of funny. It's a very fast episode, 20 minutes long, just goes by like lightning. And you have this interaction again with Alfred, and Alfred really is like in a panic mode too. Like, what am I going to do? He tries to gas. He doesn't know what he's up against, right? So he ends up trying to use gas, which of course is not going to work. The duplicate just pulls the mask off, and now Alfred's out. And then you have the H.A.R.D.A.C files where you're trying to figure out like who are replicants and that kind of thing. And what's interesting is they very quickly are doing like Terminator type research, Terminator screens with what it actually sees. The way it's processing information is very much like callbacks to Terminator product. Very, very interesting. Very, very good. Again, the show's always top notch. Just pretend to show you. So here's the real Karl Rossum, who's like, I don't do that anymore. I grow plants now. And sure enough, you have the cyborg shows up. He starts doing some repairs, that kind of thing, and this really, really fascinating heart to heart between creator and creation. Like that part's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to, be put into a real body, or a robot. That's not how this works, right? You're only facts. You're not memories. I thought was fascinating as well. I think we're in a place now with a lot of the world and a lot of people. They're not manufacturing real life experiences. They're doing like video games, so therefore they somehow think that they would know how to use a gun properly. They're doing different things. I thought like a Ready Player One. Remember how in Ready Player One, everyone lives out there. They're living out their real life in a fantasy land. I just thought about all of this. I thought about all of this sort of like the cyber connectivity that we kind of have and what's at risk as AI kind of comes and processes things and that sort of thing. So really an episode, a show before its time. Then of course it kind of gets volatile before the Batman shows up and there's this great fight. Look how great the animation is. Look at how beautiful they do with such attention to the shadows and the contrast, making sure we as the kids in the audience, we keep track of everything. It's great. Just fantastic. And I really, really like this. This was a great touch. During the battle scene, the greenhouse is starting to collapse in on itself, right? So Rossum is still there and he's at risk. Um, what ends up happening is it is the duplicate, is the cyborg that pushes him out of the way to save him, right? He's Batman. Remember, he has been created using all of these factual observations and different elements to create what H.A.R.D.A.C, the AI, thought Batman would be. And the mission statement that was built into all these duplicates was to go and find this chip, stick this chip in your head that could activate H.A.R.D.A.C. It would bring H.A.R.D.A.C's memory live, and therefore then we could go back to the original mission statement of replacing humanity with duplicates. And that's where it takes us, and we end up having to go to the Batcave for the next phase of battle, where you have them go 1-to-1. What they did here is they have moments where the mask gets ripped off, which totally like, and again, not the best animation on that, by the way. I thought that was actually some of the weakest animation was the robot's head doing all this, but they gave him red eyes, and this is all the backstory of with the actual Hardac and what the system is. Here's those Terminator graphics that I talked about briefly, how they're giving you different elements to work with. And then, of course, they have to face off. Poor Alfred's in the middle of it, of course. Um, yeah, I just didn't really care for some of the animation. This is the 5-minute countdown to bringing Hardac online, and then there's the fight over the Bat Cave, and actual literal chasm part, right? Batman lures him down and creates like a chemical fire, but it doesn't actually short him out enough. Batman ends up going over the edge, and this is where you see this great imagery here of half Batman, half cyborg, and struggling with, I'm going to take a life. It's just really, really fascinating. It's done really, really well. And ultimately, he's more Batman than he is his prime directive. The idea of not taking a life matters more. It's really, 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 really done well. The quote of this episode, I don't get to do this very often. I actually made a point of making sure that I transcribe this, if you will. I make sure I got this actually right. And it's like the duplicate, the Batman robot says, why do you resist? Hardac's goals are identical to yours. How do you figure? Picture a world completely free of crime, free of suffering, free of frailty. And Batman says, you mean free of choice, compassion, free of humanity. And the duplicate says, yes. See, it's easy for us to think about things in a very simplistic way of saying, oh, wouldn't it be nice if there was no suffering, if there was, no pain, if there's a God, then there wouldn't be some of these kinds of things. But that would require someone to give up some of their freedom of choice, their desires to sin, the desire to hurt or punish someone. It would require you to not be human. And this episode really, really, really dives deep into that. And that's where the title comes from, the his Silicon Soul, which is there's a Twilight Zone episode that's kind of going back to, I think it's her Pilgrim Soul. But at the end, Batman makes that line that he kind of had a soul, even if it was a silicon soul, which again, what makes us human? Is it the fact that we have a soul, that we have the ability to be compassionate, that we have a ability to be selfless and do things that may go against what the facts or the greater good say to do? It's a great episode. Fantastic. So yeah, had to have its own episode. Had to have its own time dedicated to discussing that. At least get your wheels going this morning. What can I say? It's a cartoon. Can we believe this was in a cartoon? We get such fluff and nonsense out of like adult content now. And in the 1992 Batman show, this is what we got. Fantastic. Just fantastic.
We'll be right back.
The eyes of justice are watching. It's Batman!
Where would a villain like me hide a bomb?
A giant maze. Revving up on his Bat-cycle, Batman races to the scene, surprising Riddler. Time's up! Turbojet Batman triumphs! Batman!
Here's Milky, the marvelous milking cow. It's fun to milk her, gonna do it right now. She drinks the water when we pump her tail. She's raising her head, it's milking time now. Her pretend milk is a feeling the pail.
She drinks water. I guess pretend milk.
Milky, the marvelous milking cow. Milky, the marvelous milking cow with pretend milk tablets. She's from Kenner.
For America's favorite hero this Christmas in the animated movie Batman, Mask of the Phantasm.
Injustice makes him boil, evil makes him burn, and then Danny Ketch becomes the Ghost Rider. Flame Glow Ghost Rider, blaze and vengeance, ride in the name of justice. With whip chains, hidden projectiles, and with flaming discs and a ghost fire gun, they destroy scum like Zarathos and Skinner. If evil makes you burn, ride with new Flame Glow Ghost Rider, defender of the innocent. Cycles come with figures, other figures sold separately.
Who defends this city?
Batman and Robin.
The Bat is the baddest, coolest, frees criminals in their tracks. Batman. The legend, the Dark Knight. The Bat unleashes an ambush attack.
Evil is ground to dust. What about the bird?
Robin, the Boy Wonder, the Blast Wing.
Bringing Freeze to his knees. Now show him the blade.
The Bat is cool. The Jet Blade. Spinning, spinning, spinning. Now that's hot. Who defends this city? It could be you.
I am
Batman. Batman Robin vehicles and figures each sold separately. Be the man, Batman.
What do we have here?
It's Castle Grayskull. And it's mine. Not so fast, Beastman. He-Man!
You can pit He-Man against Beastman playing for the power of Castle Grayskull. You have to put the castle together. Beastman's escaping.
What's wrong, Dad? Dad, you saved the castle.
Castle Grayskull from the Masters of the Universe collection. He-Man and Beastman each sold separately from Mattel.